Netflix's recent slate of original movies has been pretty terrible. New flicks like The Union, Incoming, and The Deliverance all managed a #1 rank in the streaming service's top 10 over the past few weeks, but are anything but watchlist worthy. So, after a summer of mostly underwhelming Netflix originals, I braced myself for another misfire with the streamer's new action thriller, Rebel Ridge. However, the very positive early reviews, the movie has a 95% score on Rotten Tomatoes, had me wondering if the losing streak was about to break, and now having seen the flick, I'm delighted to report it's the easily best Netflix original movie in over a month. Rebel Ridge has also enjoyed a strong start to its life on Netflix, having rocketed straight to the #1 spot in the platform's list of the top 10 most watched movies, as of Monday, September 9th, and that's a ranking it very much deserves. If you skipped out on Rebel Ridge over the weekend, here's why it's the best Netflix original in ages, and you need to stream it as soon as possible. Rebel Ridge's writer-director Jeremy Saulnier understands cinematic momentum. The movie focuses on Terry Richmond, Aaron Pierre, a former Marine, who is cycling into the small town of Shelby Springs to post bail for his cousin, but things get sticky when he's rammed off the road and has his money confiscated by two police officers of seemingly questionable intent. While it's easy to imagine a movie taking its time to get to the point of conflict, Rebel Ridge instead begins just seconds away from its inciting incident. Within moments of the movie starting, Terry is rammed off the road, and the core narrative begins. This speedy start ensures you're hooked you straight from the off. While Rebel Ridge does get pretty nutty later on, we'll get to that, I actually found myself enjoying its actionless first act the most. The sense of rapidly escalating tension is gripping, and it's hard not to feel outraged on Terry's behalf as he seeks every avenue possible to reclaim his money before the deadline that will see his cousin transferred to a state prison. It's in these moments that Aaron Pierre gets to shine. The English actor is a capable action hero, but his initial quiet fury at the situation is even more compelling. The first sequence in the police station where Terry is forced to bite his tongue several times and attempt to play nice with corrupt Chief Sandy Bernier, Don Johnson, is utterly maddening but also brilliant. Of course, diplomacy can only get Terry so far, and when playing small-town politics fails, he's left with no choice but to use force to get back what is rightfully his. From this moment, Rebel Ridge turns into a more straightforward action romp, and while there's a certain catharsis in seeing Terry fight back against a corrupt system, things get a bit predictable. Nevertheless, the action is well constructed, and shootouts feel just grounded enough to give Rebel Ridge a plausibility that many action movies lack. The inclusion of Summer, Anna-Sophia Robb, a courthouse employee who attempts to help Terry and gets wrapped up in the increasingly dangerous situation, gives the movie extra emotional stakes which helps keep the audience's investment levels high. That's easily one of Rebel Ridge's biggest strengths. It gives viewers plenty of reason to fully buy into Terry's mission. I found myself practically shouting at the screen in frustration every time an unfair roadblock was placed in his way. Naturally, I was audibly cheering when he reached his breaking point and decided to meet the police's hostile with aggressive force. Sometimes, you gotta fight fire with fire. Between the gripping momentum, brilliant leading performance from Aaron Pierre and Don Johnson is also great as the detestable villain, and the smart direction from Jeremy Saulnier, there's plenty to love here. Even if the second half leans into generic genre tropes, the whole package is nevertheless stellar. I'm delighted to see Netflix viewers embrace Rebel Ridge, and the movie's almost instant ascension to the #1 spot is perhaps a sign that I wasn't the only subscriber yearning for something that really deserves my attention. However, I'm hoping that its success won't lead to a very forced sequel. Rebel Ridge doesn't have franchise potential in my eyes. The movie comes to a logical and satisfying close.